Qualityslop. What the hell is that? Qualityslop is a term created in one of the most horrible places a human can be, even worse than a lot of prohibited web pages. 4chan. As usual with 90% of the jokes that have been created on the internet, 4chan had to be involved somehow. The forums of 4chan have gave birth and raised several different memes all over the years, and in this case is no different. The suffix "lop" has been constantly used in recent times as a type of mockery for certain types of genres and certain types of either animes, mangas, and a lot of things in every possible media. Harry Potter has an overrated writing, Magic Slop. That new isekai for the season is just like every single other one of them, Fantasy Slop. Is this new shonen the new thing, or is just like every other battle shonen that has appeared in the last 5 years, Shonen Slop? If you are a piece of media that has been created over the last year, it is certain that somebody will tell you that is a something slop. If it makes sense, it doesn't, it's kinda irrelevant, it's just what it is. However, in most of these cases that I have already mentioned, it kinda makes sense. Even if you disagree with what I'm saying, it makes kinda logical sense to be able to say something is something slop. All of the things that I just mentioned are either genres or demographics, so even though they are not inherently bad by no means, you can say that something as part of those genres or as part of those demographics can be seen as something bad. However, that quickly changes with the already mentioned Qualityslop. In one of the hundreds of forums of 4chan that I genuinely have no idea which one it was exactly, somebody decided to write that certain type of shows were Qualityslop, referring as shows that you can only like because they are good. Of course, as a sheer concept, that doesn't make sense at all. But if you think a little bit deeper into it, it makes even less sense than you can imagine at first glance. Not only the term doesn't make sense at a surface level, but when you go and look deeper into it, it's very bad, even worse than you can imagine, because it's just referring to truly good shows. Like, how can you say that a bad thing like a slop is something that you like because it's good, or is quite literally the opposite of slop? It is completely idiotic to actually believe something like that. It is truly outstanding to create something that doesn't make sense at all. Even in the internet, in which so many people say so many bad things, you managed to make something legendarily bad. Congratulations! That's what I first thought. I truly believed that there was no way in which the term Qualityslop can even exist as a sheer concept, nor one that it can actually make sense. Yet, I truly discovered something that actually fulfills that role. And that is Letterbox. Letterbox is one of those web pages that focuses on compiling several different movies and series and allowing the users to actually rank them. It is very similar to others in concept like IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, or in anime format, MyAnimeList and AniList, but this one has something more interesting. This one is way more focused in the movies and the regular shows. So the fact that they have an actual anime side is just like a bonus. And why I'm talking about this? Well, because one day I stumbled upon the top list of this entire website, and the results were interesting. And they are kinda like here. When you look at it, this might genuinely be the best anime list ever created in any of these websites. Unlike several other websites, mainly IMDb and MyAnimeList, which they have way more advantages to give to certain shows that are way more recent, this one doesn't do that. Instead of the IMDb's of the world having things like Demon Slayer or Jujutsu Kaisen on the top, or even MyAnimeList having very recent things like Chainsaw Man the recent movie, or even the JoJo Part 7 in the top, despite the fact that that one has only a singular episode, this list manages to actually portray phenomenal shows over and over again. Every single one of these shows is perfect in what they want to portray. Either the characters, the story, the animation completely revolutionary, or even the thematics behind. Every single one of these is so gorgeously created in one way or another. Is an almost flawless list, whether you like it or not. Even if your favorite anime is nowhere to be seen, it is very obvious that whoever created this, or the group of people that created it, has a lot of good knowledge in terms of series, in terms of shows, and in terms of movies. It is perfect. Almost too perfect. Every single one of these shows has been widely regarded within the anime community for a long time. Even if some of these are kinda disregarded or at times underrated by the average viewer, every single one of the shows in this list is actually one that more experienced anime watchers are gonna at least respect, even if they don't personally like them. You see what is the issue there? Every single one of them, even if they don't personally like them. The problem with this type of list of what I already stated to be too perfect is the fact that it's not actually logical. Yeah, in a vacuum, it is logical. The good shows have to be up there. That is why they are so good. That is why so many people like them. But that is not fully the case. Basically, every single show in this list is either one that is 100% serious and one that takes itself serious at every single millisecond of the whole show, or is one of the weird ones that falls into the avant-garde type of genre. To put in simple terms, the avant-garde genre is the one in which things are made weird because of artistic choices. And those shows are weird because of artistic choices. Even if you do not comprehend why I said it twice, I will explain it. Something being weird because of artistic choices means that it's not made for everyone. And as such, means that a lot of people is not gonna like it. If you decide to show this to an average anime watcher, even if he is kinda experienced with several different shows, oh my god, at least half of the shows in this genre are not gonna be for him. At least half of the shows are gonna be too much for him, either too mature, too exaggerated, or too deep for him, and as such, is not gonna be a good watch. Shows like Zero Experiments Lane, Fully Cooley, or even Tatami Galaxy are shows that are very good in their own respective ways, but because they are so unique, they are not gonna be for everyone. In fact, you can take the last two shows that I mentioned and include something like Ping Pong the Animation, and it's gonna be way more glaring because the animation art style is also not gonna be for everyone. Yeah, you can argue that it's very good even if you do not like it, but that is the thing. You might not like it, and that is something completely subjective. Most anime fans, just like the fans for most genres and most type of media, just do not like everything in an objective way. They're gonna see it in a way more subjective one. And even though these shows you can say that they have good animations or good story, you cannot easily tell that to someone in average, because they cannot see it in the same way as you. Yeah, the animation in Ping Pong the Animation is really good, but that is attached to a fact that it's a very weird and very ugly art style, and it's something that you cannot deny, but something that most people will not be able to separate from the art itself. But the biggest issue is easily within the stories themselves. A lot of these stories are very deep. Too deep that at times its message is kinda unclear in the way that it's portrayed. Yeah, most people that have seen Serial Experiments Lane kinda understand a little bit the message, but how many of them fully comprehended fully? Very few of them. And those that actually fully understood that message, they're not usually or not always gonna love it. But the ones that are actually in love with both the story and understood completely what it meant are gonna tell you that you are very bland if you do not understand it. Because the issue with Qualityslop is that for the most part is just a way to mention those animes or those pieces of media that are usually related with the elitists. When you look at every single show in this list, most of them are shows that fall within the top of the top of the top of their own respective genres in terms of how many people are gonna watch it. Most people, even if they like Seinens, are not gonna watch a couple of these. Even if a lot of people watch certain different genres, a lot of them are not gonna watch this. Even really big fans of anime have never watched things such as Revolutionary Girl Utena or Mononoke, and even if they had watched them, probably they have them way more in the middle of their own respective lists. And once again, basically every single show falls into the either extremely serious story or an avant-garde, with the exception of Azumanga Daioh, which is constantly referred to as the elitist comedy because it's too advanced for the average anime watcher, and because the average anime watcher is not gonna go back and watch a comedy from early 2000s or early 2010s. Yet, they actually put it like that. Almost every single showing here feels like it was taken from someone that had to say, wait, what anime can I say that is very good and very advanced and you average mundane people has not watched? I'm gonna put it in that list. Because with the exception of things like Jujutsu Kaisen being barely in the top 40, nothing in the top 50 or 60 are anime that you're gonna commonly watch. Even recent anime fans that try to watch a lot of anime probably are not gonna watch even a fifth of these shows, because they are not accessible and they are very unique in their own ways. Yeah, they might be great for their own genre, but they might be too much into their own genres in order for you to actually enjoy them. But the biggest reason as to why I truly believe that something like Qualityslop can actually apply to something like this is because this list doesn't feel human. Every single list has their own flaws. My anime list and anime list gives too much advantage to very recent shows, and things like IMDb are filled with people that barely even watch anime, and as such they try to rank them higher in the spaces in which most people are not gonna touch them. Letterbox, in comparison, feels like it was a machine the one that did it. It's not that the shows do not deserve to be there in some way, but there's absolutely nothing unique. It feels like this is the list of animes that feel the least like an anime and more like a regular show, or like a regular AAA movie, or a movie that is one of those very weird ones that is from the cult type of movies, like a Serbian film or stuff like that. It's not like you cannot love this, but this is just pretentious. I can understand putting Full Metal Alchemist at first, I can understand putting Monster at second, but every single anime being one of these quote-unquote masterpieces of the serious type, with so many good things to say about them, feels just like a show that was put there because someone else told you that it was a masterpiece, and because the general consensus is that it's a masterpiece, you cannot reject it. It's kinda like that joke of the elitist top 9 anime, that is just the same thing, quite ironically. Every single elitist feels like it has the same thing, and this list feels like it's something that was just made by an elitist without even considering the fact that there's something called taste. Yeah, these shows are theoretically the best, but there's a lot of the subjective factor as well. You can just love certain shows because of objective factors, but you have to have some of them being in love because of subjective things. Shows like Gintama, Attack on Titan, or Code Geass have some very glaring weaknesses, and some of them very glaring issues within their whole story. Yet they can compensate by having all of the other factors being phenomenal. And this show and this list feel like it doesn't actually try to portray that. It doesn't even try to portray the subjectivity of liking something, but rather just the objective measurement of if you have a weakness, you cannot be good. And even though this whole video might have sounded like just a big complaint about this list, it's not that I personally hate it. As I already stated, I think that is a very good list. But the fact that it's so fake and so unrealistic for someone to actually enjoy every single one of these shows at the same time, alongside the fact that I wanted to make something fun alongside that whole quality slop type of thing, like look at that, it's such a goofy message that I actually enjoy it, is the reason as to why I decided to make this video. Because even if you can agree that all of these shows are good, you cannot deny, at least a little bit, that there's certainly a little bit of quality slop surrounding this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you want more content like this, talking about a lot of very weird type of themes that nobody else has touched within the anime world, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It not only helps the channel to grow, but it would also make me very thankful with every single one of you. And now, without anything else to explain, once again, I hope that you all enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye. Bye.